Some men abuse the trust and vulnerability of their daughters, nieces, and cousins. They defile the teens, leaving them wallowing in trauma, stigma, and shame.
Cases of fathers and uncles defiling their daughters and nieces are high in Trans Nzoia County. Elizabeth, not her real name, says her estranged husband has been sexually molesting their 4-year-old son whenever he has the boy for weekend visits.
A 47-year-old man from Kagambwa village in Gatundu North, Kiambu County, is in custody after he allegedly impregnated his 15-year-old daughter.
Mimi nilishikwa ni baba yangu na akaniambia nisiseme hii mambo kwa sababu nikisema naweza kufa, na sikusema hiyo mambo, lakini hapa mwisho nilikuja nikabia mama yangu.
To be honest, most of the stories are just hard and heartbreaking. But this girl, she was only 7 years old. So that means she began being abused when she was much less younger. And it was by the father and the grandfather. And the effects of this abuse, besides the ones that we know would come because of sexual abuse, were so extreme that they triggered diabetes in this young girl. So from the age of 4, 5, that's when the father and the grandfather started abusing her. And by the time that we were rescuing her, she had kind of lost her ability to think straight. She wasn't playing, she wasn't talking. She would only nod or do this.
Incest is actually a vice. And if you can go to the scriptures, we're reading from the book of Leviticus, chapter number 18, from verse number 6 to verse number 17. None of you shall approach anyone who is near or kin to him to uncover his nakedness. I am the Lord.
What is interesting is that whereas this was forbidden from a religious perspective, scientifically, having relationship with a person who is related to you has also its own consequences. In fact, even in animals, we are told you should not allow animals to inbreed. So it is not just a religious thing. It is actually a biological thing. It has its own effects.
The family is the bedrock of society, and the father is supposed to be the protector, the provider, the one who affirms the children. He's the keeper of the moral code in the family.
Unfortunately, we have predators in the family. What we'd call sex pests, who see family members not as family members, but they see family members as a way of gratifying the sexual deprivation.
How does a man in his right mind decide he's going to sleep with his 10-year-old?
I think it's an act of being a coward. It's an act that makes you are not man enough to really approach other women. Now you're taking advantage of young girls who cannot say no just because you have money, just because maybe you're able to create threats.
So incest happens even in the perfect homes. But in those perfect homes, the desire to remain perfect in the public eye is more than for a person who is even in the low socioeconomic status. The desire for a family that has honor within the community, if it's a religious family or people who are wealthy, to not talk about an element within their household that is a cause of shame is higher. And that's what we must break the silence about.
You don't know who to trust anymore. Who has destroyed us? Who has taken away the morals? Who has crushed the fiber that we stand on? Sometimes it's our own self.
It is one thing reporting that case to the police station, recording statements, opening a very good case file, taking that charge to court. It's another getting the witnesses, including the victim, to come and testify for court. There is that presumption that now this victim may be going to give evidence against their parents. That's their father, biological father. And then the fear that after giving evidence, they might find themselves with nowhere to go. They have no home to go. And they are scared they might not get the right shelter. They might not get somebody to pay their fees. They might not get somebody to take care of them financially. That is one of the challenges we have, and we have seen even the victims refuse to come testify.
When it's incest, because then it's within a family setting, you'd find that sometimes, and it's repeated violence. So then the child is also threatened. They're not able to share. They're actually even confused because this is someone who's supposed to protect them. So there are a lot of, would I say, variables that come into play in terms of the reporting. And sometimes you have what you call late presentation. So you'll have a child who's been abused over and over, and sometimes even conditioned, sometimes even given gifts and all that. So they're all confused and wondering even who to report to.
When you're in that situation, you're not able to think, rationally. You're in a frightful mood. Maybe society has rejected you, family has rejected you, the church is condemning you.
We have people today who cannot stand up to be counted. They say, this is wrong, we are going a different direction, we're going to swim up the current. People are looking for money, prosperity, and so that which brings me money, I don't speak about. That which helps to build this, somebody's reported has done ABCD, but the other day he gave a tithe of $1 million, so you cover that. So at the end of the day, worldliness has come into the church.
The religious leaders could also do a little bit more by checking how the members of their religious organization are doing.
I would say education is everything. The more we empower the community, the more we'll be able to deal better with the gender issues that we are having in the society.
And I would also want to urge parents to talk to their children and talk openly. And sometimes be very careful on who you bring on board. And let this child from a very early age, because they can be taught from any age according to their understanding. Let this girl know that there are parts that are not supposed to be touched. Let them know this is your uncle. Let them know this is your cousin. Let them know that even if your father touches you, you need to talk about it.
We have to preach the gospel that you are so precious, valuable, and priceless. No one has the permission to tamper with your body. That's why it's important for us to tell our children and our teens that if any of these things happen, indecent acts being done on you, speak out. Because when we keep silent, it grows. One philosopher said, bad things happen because good people keep quiet. The cycle will continue because you kept quiet.
By speaking out and joining advocacy efforts to end incest, we can diminish the damage it brings to communities and lower the number of pariah children born as a result of incest. Incest is prevalent in society, yet it is a taboo that many are not willing to discuss. And when spoken of, it is done in hushed tones.
If the society knows it's a taboo, why don't they stop this taboo behavior and action before it brings a pregnancy? So the society has to wake up, and everybody has to wake up. We have to realize that we are being hypocritical by not addressing this issue.
This contributes significantly to more cases of blood relatives committing atrocities against children.
As a country, to fight these fights, we need the support of every person. It's an evil fight that we are facing, and we need everybody to be at the forefront to fight it.